Welcome back to the Oracles of God channel. Last we were talking about who is God of the Bible in part one of the video. So this is part two, and we left off talking about let's see here. Oh, God's glory in Ezekiel was described as fire around his person. That's where we left off at last. So now we're going to pick up on what the Bible says about God's throne. So God's throne in Daniel is described as fire. In the book of Daniel, it's described as fire. Okay. So in Daniel, the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9, it says, "I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit." Ancient of Days being God. Okay. Whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. Okay, so that's how they describe God's throne and also God himself. So God, also in the Bible, God is described as a consuming fire, and fire coming from his person. Okay. So in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 24, it says, "For the Lord thy God is a consuming fire, even a jealous God." Exodus chapter 19, verse 18, it says, "And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly." The whole mountain shook. Okay. Daniel chapter 7, verse 10, it says, "A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him," him being God. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000s times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 29 says, "For our God is a consuming fire." Just like what it said in Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 24, okay? So God's appearance in Daniel is described as a person sitting on a fiery throne with white hair that has the texture of wool, okay? We just read that earlier. So in summary, what we learned is God is the creator of heaven and earth, the source of all creation. He is holy, meaning he's perfect in all his ways. He is a father and has a son as well as adopted children, right? He's referred to as the Father, our Father, and Holy Father by Jesus himself. And he's the only one, by the way, that has the right to be called Holy Father. He exists as one being, one person. He is a spirit. He is eternal, which means lives forever. He is immortal, which means he cannot die. He is light, lives in light, and light is described as his glory. He is a consuming fire, and fire proceeds from his person. He has a sapphire blue throne of fire. He is described as having the form of a man with fire all around him. He is referred to as the Ancient of Days. So all these things that we discussed about in part one, as well as in this video, it's all coming from the Bible. It's not my own perspective. It's not my own thoughts. It's what the Bible describes as God to be. In a future video, we'll talk about God's Son, who's a totally different person. Okay, God is one being, as according to what the Bible says. The Son is a separate being. Okay, just like it described in Proverbs in part one of the video. And I'm paraphrasing, it says, "What is his name? And what is his son's name, if thou canst tell?" Okay. So anyway, I wanted to go over this with you, just so we can have the foundation of what we mean when we talk about God, because there's many people that say that they believe in God. The Bible also calls Satan the God of this world. Okay. You have many other religions that have their idea of who God is to them. Okay. But I'm only speaking from the Holy Bible, Christianity, in reference to who God is. Okay. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.